Hello there YouTube, it's your Bobby3, back with another kicking action figure review. Today is one of the figures I got on a vacay, and a pretty cool figure at that, to be completely honest with you. It is the McFarlane DC Multiverse General Zod from DC Rebirth. I got him for 20 bucks on clearance at Books A Million. This is Books A Million I like to spend a lot of time in, and they had him there. So, thanks, Books A Million. But yeah, he's pretty cool. He's one I've been wanting for a while. So I saw him for 20 and I was like, you know what? Let's go ahead and do it. I can support a brick and mortar bookstore. Don't worry, I got plenty of books too. Comic and otherwise. But yeah. Now we're taking a look at General Zod. Let's do accessories first. We don't usually do that, but let's do it. He's got the standard kind of DC stand. This guy came out before they started doing the flight stands, so it's just the normal peg stand with a little DC logo. Thank you. All the McFarlane DC figures come with that, and they all come with trading cards. This is the kind of trading card, like, I kind of like trading cards in figures. It's a little nostalgic for me because of Trin Masters and stuff. But I don't like the product shots of the figure on it. I would prefer comic art. It's like, do I really need a picture of the figure I just got? No, because I have the figure, right? It's admittedly a cool product shot, but eh. Also, I liked General Zod, you know, in DC Rebirth. And I kind of liked him in the Bendis run too, admittedly. You know, there's a little read-up of General Zod. Let's try to focus on that so you can pause and read that there if you'd like, but it's, you know, nothing that you probably don't know. Pretty standard info. It's nothing specifically about Rebirth Zod. It's just a General Zod read-up that they can use over and over when they make more General Zods if they feel like it. He also comes with several interchangeable hands. Like, this is kind of a really good figure. Admittedly. He comes with 2 holding hands, and I have kind of a pet peeve about giving figures holding hands when they don't have anything to hold, but it's not as bad when they're interchangeable hands. Like, for instance, when I reviewed this Superman, I noted that he had a holding hand and nothing to hold, but he also didn't have any hands to swap it out with. When there are hands to swap the holding hands out with, it's not as big of a deal to me, honestly. At least they gave us a lot of hands. I would have preferred maybe flight hands, you know, like the flat kind of hands like that. These are other Superman hands from the Superman vs. Doomsday 2-pack. But still, this isn't so bad. And then he comes with 2 of these kind of open hands and 2 fist hands. These are the ones I chose to display him with. These are not the ones that were on him in the box. But he does come with one for each side. Pretty neat. But yeah, that's all his accessories. Now let's get into articulation. You got up and down on the head. You know, you can get him in a pretty decent flight pose. Side to side, wobble, all that jazz. He's got these big shoulder pads. They don't hinder terribly much, but them plus the big cape, it does hinder, especially on this side. That being said, it is really cool looking. But there's still, you know, a good bit of movement. This one doesn't hinder as much as you'd think, but it does hinder. You've got bicep, you know, double elbow bend. You do have the kind of a wrist swivel and forward and back and stuff, but it is kind of hindered by this piece of armor. But if you pop the hand off, you can actually slide this kind of gauntlet bracer thing off his arm if you want, but I prefer it there. It kind of completes the armor, you know? Pretty cool. And then, you know, you've got a lot of torso and waist, as well as in and out on the legs, forward, back. I like the rubber cover. Makes the legs go back farther than a lot of figures like Marvel Legends. You know, you got a double knee bend, even though there's no thigh. Then, there's no boot swivel either, but there is up and down on the foot, you know, an ankle pivot that's hindered a little by the big old boots, but not that much. He does have articulation on his little toe beans, and peg holes for his stand, of course. I think he's really cool. I actually like this figure a lot. He's not made of just a bunch of reused parts like a lot of, not just McFarlane figures, but figures in general. These are like all new parts for all of him, it seems like. And I guess that's something they had to do. But it's not like Rebirth Zod was a big deal character, and, you know, the Flash movie with General Zod in it again, you know, this guy came out a good bit before that. So they kind of just gave us a Zod. And it's nice that they gave us something other than, you know, effing Batman characters, even though I do buy a lot of those, admittedly. But he's pretty cool. I think the detail and paint is quite nice. I feel like they maybe went harder on him than they needed to. He's really cool. He's got a nice kind of neutral expression that you could do a lot with. You guys know I collect a lot of Kryptonians, so this is good for me. A lot of detail in the cape, and then there's detail in the joints themselves, which is always really cool to see. There's a lot of detail on the back, though not that much paint there, but it's fine because, once again, the cape covers it. But I mean, at least this gray is painted all the way around. That little U-esque symbol isn't painted gold like this one, but I don't even know if it was in the comic because, once again, it's covered by the cape. So it's pretty cool. But now I think we need to get into some size comparisons. Would you like that? Would you like that, my friend? Would you like size comparisons? Alright, let's do some. First up, I'm going to compare him with another McFarlane DC Multiverse figure. This one's a collector's edition, but it's still the same scale. It is Superman from Action Comics #1, so it's kind of the OG Superman look. I kind of noticed this after I did the review on him, but his hands are different sizes, which is a complaint I've had about some McFarlane figures before. His hands are different sizes, McFarlane. Just wanted to throw that out there. But this guy's hands, perfect match, because they were sculpted specifically for him and not reused. So it looks like he scales well with his own line, which is really all you can ask, you know? But how about we show him with some DC Direct? This is a DC Direct sculpt that's pre-McFarlane, because there are some DC Direct sculpts that are post-McFarlane acquiring it. Here is the Deceased Unkillables Red Hood. Both of these figures I have reviewed recently, and I think he looks good with that red hood too. He's much bulkier, but, you know, still, that works. Jason Todd is just a human after all, and a young one at that. Even in this form, I think he's, what, in his 20s? Yeah. He's also undead. But yeah, so he scales well with those figures, and, you know, that's really all you can ask. But I think I want to show him with a couple other things as well. So next up, I'm going to show him with another figure that I got on vacation, which just happens to be another General Zod. General Zod in his skin suit from Man of Steel. This is the Mattel Movie Masters Man of Steel General Zod. As you can see, he's far too small to go with this General Zod. If you're doing a multiverse thing, it's just, he's so small compared to him. He's even a little small compared to most of Mattel's DC lines, so he really, really doesn't work here, unfortunately. But if we move Red Hood out of there, we can show him with another undead character. This one's not a DC character, though he has crossed over with DC. I just like to show him with McFarlane's figures, because he's McFarlane's boy. He's McFarlane's baby. His claim to fame, I think. When he's, you know, long and gone, this is his creation that will be remembered the fondest when people think of him. It is Spawn. This is one of McFarlane's Spawn figures, specifically the deluxe Spawn that comes with the throne. And at this point, I can probably confidently say it's one of my favorite figures in my collection. I really like this Spawn. But yeah, Al Simmons and General Zod here look pretty cool together. You usually see him cross over with Batman, which makes sense. But, you know, if he did cross over and fight some Kryptonians, Spawn is magic, so that could give him an upper hand, you know. It's a fight I'd like to see. I'd like to see Spawn fight anybody, to be completely honest. Very cool. So that's it for size comparisons. He scales well with stuff that's in his own scale, you know? And honestly, can you ask for anything else? No. He scales well with his own line. That's all that matters, but he also scales well with a couple other lines. Just not going to go well with Mattel stuff. Oops. But he's not designed to, so it's fine. Anyway, what are my final thoughts on General Zord? Well, the McFarlane DC Multiverse General Zod from DC Rebirth is pretty cool. I really like this figure a lot. I think it's one of the better McFarlane figures that I have. They went really hard on sculpting him and stuff. They went hard on the paint, on, you know, the accessories. The trading card could be better, but at the end of the day, I don't think that super matters. His scaling is pretty much perfect. He's a great figure, and I think he's criminally underrated. Also, if you haven't read the Action Comics and Superman runs from DC Rebirth, the 2016 runs, you are missing out. They're magnificent. I've reviewed several of the volumes from both series on this channel. You can check them out. Actually, I think I reviewed the entire Superman run, but I don't think I've finished reviewing the Action Comics run. But I reviewed the whole Superman run, the Tomasi Gleason one on here, and I loved it. Absolutely adored it. You can check those out. You can also check out reviews for all of the figures I just showed you, except this General Zod, who I have not reviewed yet, but I'm getting to it. So thank you all very much for your support. Remember to rate, comment, and subscribe. Check out all the cool links in the description below, Facebook, Twitter, etc. And I'll be seeing you all, you guessed it, next time. Bye for now.